In this video, we are going to look at two methods for drawing an octagon. Okay, now important thing to remember about an octagon is that it has 8 sides. Okay, and the first method that we're going to look at is the same method as we've used to draw the hexagon first and then the pentagon. So what we have with this is our first thing that we need to do is to make sure that we do our calculation. So 360 degrees divided by the number of sides. So that is 360 divided by 8 here, which gives me 45 degrees. Okay. Then what we're going to do to start off is that we're going to draw the base first. So we will draw in the base of our octagon. Okay, coming across here. Next thing then is you're going to come up at 45-degree angles from the sides. Now the thing about your 45 degrees is that it's good like your hexagon in that we can use our set square to do it. So we can use our smaller 45-degree set square, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line up at 45 degrees in one direction and a line up at 45 degrees in the other direction. And what we do then is we get our compass in the same way as we did for the hexagon and the pentagon. Take your 50 on your compass and swing it onto the sides. Okay. Once you have those in, then you are going to draw your next sides, which are two vertical lines. So once you have your two first sides, okay, so we now have 3 sides altogether, then your next ones come up straight up. So you're going to come up vertically from one side here, you're going to come up vertically from the other one here, and you're going to swing your compass again. Okay, so you're going to get, in this one we got 0.8 and 0.3. Then with the next step, by keeping the distance the same on the compass, we're then going to get 0.7 and we're going to get 0.4. Okay, and then once you have that done, then you're going to come up at 45 degrees in the other direction. So from 7 here, I'm going to come up at 45 degrees, and from 4 I'm going to come up at 45 degrees. I'm going to keep my compass again the same distance. With the point at 4, swing it to 5, point at 7, swing it, and you will find 6. And then finally, then you're just going to join up your 0.5 up to your 0.6 at the top, and that is your octagon. Now, the thing about this is, again, it's another one of those shapes that kind of self-corrects itself, because if you've done it right, this line should be horizontal, and should be the same length as this one. So this one here should be the same as this one here. And if it isn't, then something's gone wrong either with your 45-degree lines or with your compass. With this one, most likely would be with your compass that you might make a mistake with it. Okay, but also if you've made a mistake with your angles, it could be just the way that you were holding your T-square when you were drawing each one of the angles around. Okay, so that's the first method for drawing an octagon. Our second method then, if we go down here to the next page, is drawing an octagon inside a square. Okay, now you might say that's very specific. Why do I need to know that? The reason for this construction is that an octagon fits into a square quite well, and actually this is a more accurate way of drawing an octagon. So a lot of the times in questions, this is the way that you will be given it. Okay, the reason that it's more accurate than the other one is because we don't have to deal with angles quite as much. Okay, in terms of measuring 45 degrees and using our set squares and using our T-squares and those kind of things. So first of all, what you get with this is that you will be given the size of the square that it fits in. So in this case, it's 80 millimeters by 80 millimeters. So the first thing you do is you draw your square. Okay. The next thing you do then is that you join the corners of your square. Okay, so I join one corner to the next one, and I join the other corner up to the other one, and I get a cross, which gives me a center of my square, and gives me everything I need for it to go on to the next step. Now, the next step that you do is that you take the distance, so the distance between a corner and the middle, okay, so that distance there, so between the corner and that center. So if I was to put that blue line into this view, it would be the distance from here to here. Okay, so I take that distance and I swing that on my compass. And what happens is that when you swing that line, is that you get 2 points. So you get 1 point here, and you get another point here. And those 2 points are going to be points on your octagon. Okay. What you do then is that you go from each one of the corners and you swing those arcs. So what you'll have is you'll have from this corner to here, you'll swing an arc. Okay, so that one will be swung there to get your 2 points here. You would then go from center out to for here. Okay, and so then you'll have it in this one here. And you have your 2 points. And you'll finally go from another one of the corners. So from here, so my yellow there, going from my corner to here, and that will give me another 2 points. Okay, so if I was to be specific with this, we have the yellow one gets us those two. The red one gets us this one and this one. Okay, so that's what's coming from these. We have the blue one. Blue one gets us this one and this one. And the pink one gets us this point and this point. Okay, so that's what's coming from each one of them. And then once you have each one of those points, so all of those points going around, they get joined up. And that gives you then your octagon. Okay, and again, this is just used because it's generally a more accurate way of drawing it than drawing it the other way. So the questions, you can be asked this question, this way of doing it in lots of different questions, because a lot of the time when you're doing questions in exams or in books, they try to make it as easy as possible for you to be accurate. So this is generally a more accurate way of doing it.